There comes a time when the world feels just a little quieter. The phone rings less often, the calendar isn't as full, and the days stretch out with more silence than they used to. Maybe the job that gave you purpose for decades is now behind you. Maybe the house feels a little too big now. Or maybe after the loss of someone dear, you're left wondering who you are without them. And in those quiet moments, it's easy to start doubting yourself, to wonder if the best parts of life are already behind you. But what if they're not? What if this season of life, this chapter after 65, could be the one where you truly find yourself again? Not as a worker, a spouse, a parent, or a caregiver, but as you. This time, with all your wisdom, your lived experience, and the freedom to choose differently. Confidence doesn't retire with age. It simply asks to be renewed, sometimes gently, sometimes boldly. And that's exactly what we're doing here. Let's talk about something that's often unspoken: how to rebuild confidence when life changes and keeps changing. You're not alone in this. Thousands of people feel the same after retirement, after children move away, or after losing someone they love deeply. And while it may feel like confidence is something you're supposed to just have, the truth is, it can be rebuilt. Carefully, intentionally, and powerfully. The first step? Reclaiming your routine. And I don't mean filling your day with tasks just to stay busy. I mean crafting a rhythm that centers you, something that gives your day a beginning, a middle, and an end you can look forward to. Maybe it starts with a walk around your block every morning, not for exercise alone, but to greet the day on your own terms. Maybe you sip tea near a sunny window and journal your thoughts for 10 quiet minutes. The point is, you get to shape your time. And when you do that consistently, something shifts. You start to feel capable again, grounded. You realize you're still the author of your days. That structure doesn't restrict you. It sets you free. And while we're talking about reclaiming things, here's another one: your voice. After 65, many people start to feel invisible, like their opinions carry less weight, like the world's spotlight has shifted elsewhere. But confidence blooms when you speak up again. Start small. If someone asks how you're doing, tell them honestly, not just fine. If you have an idea, a church, in a group, in your own family, share it. Make phone calls. Write letters. Comment on that community page. Speak up in spaces that matter to you, and don't shrink from your story. Because your voice carries something powerful, the wisdom of experience. And when you use your voice, something else magical begins to happen. You begin to reconnect. That brings us to another quiet but powerful confidence booster: meaningful connection. Not just being around people, but being seen by them. Too often, we assume friendship is a young person's game, but in truth, some of the deepest bonds are made later in life. You don't need a dozen friends. One or two is enough, as long as they're the kind of people who make you feel like you again. That could mean joining a local book club, volunteering at a school or food bank, or even reaching out to an old friend whose number you've had sitting in your drawer for years. Loneliness and isolation are sneaky thieves. They rob you of joy slowly. But when you choose to reach out, just once, you crack that door open again. And with each call, each visit, each shared laugh, you gather pieces of yourself that might have gone quiet over the years. Confidence isn't about becoming someone new. It's about remembering who you are and stepping into that with pride, with gentleness, and with courage. So let's keep going. There's more ahead to discover, more ways to rebuild and rise. There's something deeply powerful about deciding you're not done yet, that your story still has pages to turn, moments to create, and parts of yourself to rediscover. Confidence doesn't return all at once. It comes back in whispers, in small choices, in quiet victories. And one of the strongest, yet most overlooked ways to rebuild that confidence is through movement. Not the kind of movement that leaves you sore and panting, unless you enjoy that, but simple, consistent, joyful movement that reminds you that your body is still yours. When we stop moving, we often start to feel stuck in more ways than one. But just 20 minutes a day, walking, stretching, dancing in your living room with the curtains closed, can change your whole outlook. You start to feel lighter, more in tune with your breath and your strength. Even your posture begins to shift, and that small lift in your shoulders, that's confidence showing up in your body. You don't need to be an athlete. You just need to move with intention. Wake your muscles. Feel your feet on the ground. Reclaim the space you walk through. Let your body become a reminder that you are here, you are capable, and you are far from finished. Another quiet confidence killer that sneaks in over time is negative self-talk. You know, that little voice that says, "I'm too old for this," or "I'm not needed anymore," or "What's the point?" It's a voice that can sound convincing, especially when routines change or people stop asking for your help. But here's the truth, that voice is not you. It's just an echo of old fears that never really served you anyway. Confidence begins to grow when you learn to respond to that voice, not believe it. And you don't have to fight it. Instead, you can gently reframe it. When you catch yourself thinking, "I'm too old to try something new," you can pause and ask, "Is that really true? Or is it just uncomfortable?" When you think, "People don't see me anymore," you can remind yourself, "Maybe it's time I start seeing myself clearly, kindly, boldly." Try this simple habit. At the end of each day, write down one thing you did well, just one. It could be as small as making your own breakfast instead of skipping it, or calling someone you hadn't spoken to in a while. These small acts, stacked day after day, become proof that you are showing up, that you are growing even now, especially now. And let's talk about something that might surprise you, the power of learning something new. You might think learning is for the younger crowd, but nothing builds confidence quite like stretching your mind and discovering you're still sharp, still curious, still evolving. Whether it's a new hobby, a course, a recipe, or even learning how to use a new phone app, every new skill you try is a declaration that you are still open, still alive, still full of potential. Think about that for a second. You spent a lifetime gathering knowledge, solving problems, figuring things out. Why stop now? Confidence often grows when you challenge yourself just enough to be a little uncomfortable. It could be painting for the first time in 40 years. It could be figuring out how to navigate Zoom so you can attend a virtual meetup. It could even be something as fun as learning how to play chess or do crossword puzzles online. Each time you try something new, you send a quiet message to yourself. "I still believe in me." That belief is powerful. It shifts your energy. It changes how you carry yourself. And it reminds you and others that your presence still matters. All of this comes back to one thing: choice. Reclaiming confidence after 65 isn't about pretending you're the same as you were at 30 or 40. It's about accepting where you are, honoring your journey, and still choosing to invest in you. Because you are worth the effort. You are worth the time. And when you choose to care for yourself, your body, your voice, your mind, confidence doesn't just return. It starts to shine. One of the most powerful confidence boosters, especially after 65, is connection, but not the kind that feels forced or drains your energy. It's about meaningful connection, the kind that nourishes your spirit and reminds you that you are seen, valued, and loved. Over the years, life tends to shift our social circles. Friends move away, loved ones pass on, routines change, and suddenly, the days can feel quieter. Sometimes too quiet. But here's the truth. It's never too late to build new connections or deepen the ones you already have. In fact, doing so can breathe new life into your days. Reaching out doesn't have to be dramatic. It can be as simple as sharing a laugh with your neighbor, joining a book club at the local library, or picking up the phone to call someone you haven't spoken to in a while. One real, honest conversation can lift the weight of a lonely day. And if you're someone who enjoys your own company most of the time, that's perfectly okay too. Confidence isn't always about being surrounded by people. It's about choosing connection when it feels right for you. Sometimes, even connecting with nature, sitting under a tree, tending to a garden, watching the sky change colors, can ground you in a way that brings peace and clarity. The point is, you don't have to go through this stage of life feeling isolated or invisible. Whether it's one person or 10, whether it's in person or through a screen, connection is a gentle reminder that you still belong to yourself, to others, to the world around you. Now, there's one final piece to this confidence puzzle, and it might be the most important one of all: self-compassion. Many of us grew up believing that strength meant pushing through, staying busy, staying useful. But sometimes, the most courageous thing you can do is simply be kind to yourself. Not just when things go right, but especially when they don't. You might have days when motivation disappears, days when your body feels heavy, days when grief or regret or frustration visit without warning. On those days, confidence can feel out of reach. But that's when self-compassion becomes your anchor. You can say, "Today was hard, and that's okay. I'm still here. I'm still worthy. Speak to yourself the way you would speak to someone you love, with gentleness, with encouragement, with patience. Because confidence doesn't grow in perfection. It grows in acceptance. When you make space for rest, for mistakes, for starting over, you make space for growth. And here's the beautiful part. It's never too late to begin again. Each morning offers a quiet invitation to start fresh. A chance to say, I'm going to take care of myself today. Not because I have to prove anything, but because I deserve to feel good. So as we wrap up, let's take a deep breath together. And remember this, confidence isn't something you either have or don't have. It's something you build one small step at a time. Through movement, through learning, through kindness to others and to yourself, through choosing connection, through deciding again and again that you are still the author of your story. You've already walked through so much. You've learned, endured, celebrated, lost, loved, and rebuilt. That's not weakness. That's power. That's experience. And it's time to let that experience shine. If any part of this message spoke to you, even a little, I invite you to share your thoughts in the comments. Tell us how you're rebuilding your confidence or what you've learned along the way. Your story could be the very thing someone else needs to hear today. And if you found this helpful, please give the video a like and consider subscribing for more conversations like this, ones that honor your journey and support your next chapter. You are never too old to start over. You are never too far gone to feel good again. And you are absolutely never alone in this. Here's to living your life boldly, gently, and on your own terms, any age.